Your story is what you have, what you will always have. It's something to own. This is a quote by Michelle Obama. And what you make of that story is the power you have to make history. And this is the quote by Corporate Diva team. Corporate Diva is a flagship program on transforming women professionals into women leaders. And as you have been listening to the TGV and following TGV, March 2023 is a special month for us because we are celebrating Women's Day month this year and are featuring corporate divas, inspiring women leaders from across the globe so that each one of the audience listening to this podcast can get inspired and grow big in their careers as well as in their lives. In today's episode, let us chat with Heena Saini. She is a breast cancer survivor who did not give up. Instead, she invested in self and climbed the corporate ladder. She's a versatile and effervescent leader with global expertise and passion for creating impact by coaching leadership. A double MBA with operations and project management specialization. She graduated in March 2022 from Cornell in executive management. She brings forth 2 decades of steadfast experience in the IT and information security, program management, operations management, and people management. She has effectually orchestrated multiple global service transition projects with cross-functional and diverse culture teams. So this is going to be a power-packed episode. This is the Guiding Voice podcast series, the Guiding Voice for a Better Future. Friends, I'm your host Naveen Samala, just a fellow IT professional on a mission to make the world a better place to live. Through the Guiding Voice, we drive conversations that matter and conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Thank you so much for joining me. And Heena, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice. Deepika spoke volumes about you, and I was super impressed by the kind of tenacity that you have demonstrated and how you have overcome cancer and how you have invested in yourself to grow up in the leadership ladder. Hearty welcome. Thank you so much for being part of our journey.
Thank you so much, Naveen, for having me here. It's equally my pleasure. And I think I'm just in gratitude to whatever Deepika would have spoken. It's just the journey which has allowed me to evolve and become a better person. And I think till date, every day is a new learning. That's how I wake up every day, that what is there today for me to learn, either from someone or where I can make an impact. So I'm just in gratitude to the words Deepika spoken about me. And thank you so much for an elaborate introduction you gave about me. I was just in loss of word and thinking, oh, really? I've done all these things.
Yeah, my pleasure. The initial message itself is so inspiring, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. With that, let's get started. So, Heena, you had over 2 decades of experience, and can you briefly share key milestones in your corporate journey, how it all started and how it is evolving?
So I would say key milestone, Naveen, would be one is when I realized that where I have to build my niche. That would be the first one. After almost to 5 years in my career, it was a make and break journey, trying different kind of roles. I started as a telecaller, telemarketer, which people hated. I mean, including me. None of us really want to have those annoying calls coming. To a coordinator, in between a small stint of receptionist for a few days, and then tried my hands on call center. Finally got into operations, which was also a monotony. And then when got that break of getting into the IT sector, I am not a hands down IT technical person who get into and fix things, but the project management arena gave me that opportunity to enable people that if something is broken, who can fix it? So I am that enabler who bridge the gap between the person who is looking for who can fix it and the person who can really fix it. And that's when I would call that as a first milestone, because it let me unleash that, yeah, this is the place where you have to build your success story. Second milestone, I would say, when I started getting into it and different kind of challenges came into the picture and allowed me to collaborate with multiple people of diverse group and allowed me to evolve as a professional, right? From a project manager to a project lead, a senior project manager, and today at a place where I am being designated as a senior principal program manager. It is a long journey, and I have seen a evolution of Hina, what was when she started this journey to what I am today, a different person altogether. So that was the second milestone. And third one, when I thought that enough contributed in terms of my journey, I have evolved as a person, but what I can do to impact others, which just happened recently. I think thanks to COVID, while was a dark arena for people, for me, it came as blessing in disguise on multiple dimensions. I thought I was doing a pro bono coaching and mentoring for many youngsters who came across in my path of journey in terms of the career, and they could unleash that potential in themselves. They could get accomplish the things what they were trying to take my help from, and it came very naturally to me to motivate people, to bring that spark in them, or to let them know that you have it in you but you are not seeing it. Sometimes you need that external push. Sometimes you are so much surrounded by those negative thoughts that you just don't get to see that those external noises are so much that you don't hear your own voice. So I was becoming that voice for them. They were able to achieve the things they wanted to. And that's when I thought that though I've done enough for myself so far, it's the time now to give back and start creating that ripple effect and unleash the potential in others. And that's when I took the third milestone, that I got certified as a career coach and walking on that journey also along with my current profession.
I could see a lot of diversity in the path that you have chosen, and you are humble enough that you started in roles like call center, receptionist, telemarketing, and all. Not everybody has that guts to admit those kind of things in public, and really salute to you. This is so inspiring, and I could see that passion in you. Okay, from step to step, from milestone to milestone, right? You have done something different, and at the same time, I also wish you all the best on your coaching journey. I'm sure all your coaches are going to immensely benefit. This is
Fingers
so
crossed.
absolutely. So this is so inspiring. And with that, let's move to the next question. Again,
Sure.
one of my favorite questions. I normally keep these conversations quite natural, keeping in view of the audience. What
Absolutely.
what audience actually expect from a senior leader, okay, who is giving this podcast, right? So from that perspective, I love asking this question. What are the top three attributes, or what are the top three things, or the success mantra, you may call it, that have attributed to your career success so far?
One, I would say, see, nobody is a born leader. It's something what happens in the journey when you're walking on this path. And I think I truly believe in that. Suddenly, when you're out of the college, you just don't say that you're a leader. Of course, there are some percentage of, especially today's generation, they are much, much different than what I was in my time when I came out of the college. I see a vast change. It's completely a different ball game altogether now. I would say one is my resilience. I am a highly resilient person. It's not really easy to put me down and then just think that okay, she will not rise up. So that will not happen. Second, I would say over the period of time now, I have a more structured approach, that every day in the morning, I have this habit since last 3 to 4 years, that I decide that top three things what I have to do. It can be around my work also, it can be around my personal priorities as well. So I make sure that those top three things I accomplish in the day, because work is never ending. Work is always there. You say that okay, I have too much of work, too much of work. So basically people think that life happens only on weekend. Life happens every day. We forget that life is on a weekday also. It should not revolve around your work only. You should devote your time for your self awareness. Should devote time for reading. You should devote time for something what you like. You should devote time for your near and dear ones, spending time with them. So top three things is what I make sure I prioritize, and I try to accomplish them. I would say 9 out of 10 times I do it. Sometimes schedule goes haywire and it just gets cornered. And last but not the least, a very important quality as a leader, what I keep first is people come first. Processes, technologies, everything will come, go, evolve, and might come back in the fashion again. But it's people who make the game, it's people who break the game. So just make sure that you're taking care of your people. Not necessary they have to be the reportees to you. I mean, it's reportees, people consider the reportees when they are managers, but for leaders, anybody they talk through in the day, it's they make that impact. And anybody they collaborate in the day, they make sure that they are taking care of them, not in terms of their own need, but the person who is in front. So it's people who comfort, and please take care of them. The work will be done.
Amazing. I simply love this statement. Life is on a weekday also, and weekdays shouldn't just revolve only on work, right?
Absolutely.
And one other thing which I share commonality is about the structured approach of planning the day. Of course, I don't maintain post-it note kind of thing, but I maintain a virtual list before I begin my day and make sure that all those are ticked. Okay, by the end of the day and all. And 99% of the time I don't carry forward. And there are some exceptions, as I was telling earlier, like
Absolutely,
we are all human beings, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Great. That's amazing. Now let's move ahead. What is your most important leadership skill? I know you seem to be a people person from the brief conversation I had so far, but what you treat as an important leadership skill?
Allow people to say, it's like, as I said, people come first. Whenever I have headed a team or as a part of the program management, I get the opportunity to collaborate with multiple people in terms of my own leaders. And now as a career coach, I get to listen to many people over a period of time, develop this habit, and still learning, I think, each day, because sometimes you tend to forget it. That God has given you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen more and talk less, and allow others to talk. It's very important. I have to consciously give this reminder to myself. I think I am 75% there. 25% I'm still building on this skill, because it's always the approach that if I'm talking to you today, Naveen, so I should think that what is it in for Naveen to talk to me? It should not be my priority which should come first. It should be Naveen's need which I should address to. Then by default, when tomorrow I would be need to something, the things of the puzzle will fall in place. So I think, as I said, it people who make and break the game. So keep them first, and your half work will be done. Rest, hard work has to be there along with the smart work.
Yeah, makes absolute sense. And here comes my next question. So you initially started as a telecaller and then receptionist, right? And BPO, and then you took plunge into the tech industry. So what sparked your interest in working in the tech industry? Like, did you think about, okay, I should also become an engineer? I should be building some software. Has there that kind of thing on your mind when you spent your initial career in the telemarketing as well as all other different roles that you have taken?
So no, first answer is never, Naveen. I thought that I should really become an engineer or build a piece of software or so, because I connect to the emotion of the individual, whom I'm talking to, or whom I'm collaborating with, or the team I'm heading. I'm a natural nurturer. I would say that it comes very naturally to me. At places, I need to really stop myself, because not everybody likes it when you try to take care of them. So at least now I know where to draw a line and where to cross it a little bit so that the other person feel comfortable about it. So never I've thought that I should become an engineer. But I would say that what kept me hooked to the tech industry is the fact that my no 2 days are same. I am a person who embrace ambiguity. I am okay with the surprises of the day in terms of work, and change does not really deter me, because as you mentioned in the starting my introduction, that I'm a breast cancer survivor. So that change of life has really taught me so much that any change which comes, I now embrace it with ace. There might be ruffles. It's like, that swan who's calm on the surface, but uh, been ruffling hard beneath the water. I might become sometimes that, but overall, I am the person who love the change because it comes with its own set of surprises. And somewhere I totally believe that there is a bigger power who is calculating things at a different logic and mathematics and doing the miracles for you. So the reason why I stick to the tech industry was and chose project management as my career path, because every day is a project in your life. If you have to plan a dinner for a guest, that's a project. If you have to shift houses, that's a project. So project is management, or program management is such an area where every day is a new day. Every project is a new project. You get to work with different people, diverse group, whether it's globally, whether it's of different cosmopolitan, multilingual people. You learn from their culture because it doesn't remain transactional, right? You tend to learn about the person. So it just widens your horizon and dimension. So though I am not hands down dirty doing technical things, but this orchestration of the job of the projects and being an enabler for my leadership and other people who are involved, I think that itself was a hook to remain hooked to this industry.
That's nice. And let's move ahead. I have an interesting question. Like, do you think enough is done to help women to get into the tech industry? Right? In case if you do not agree with that, what would you recommend?
Yes, I choose not to agree with you that, because yes, I have personally felt it. If recently was going through a blog, and you might have heard of Anita B organization. They run this Grace Hopper and so sort for women in tech. They have done a survey and they found out that only 29% of the women are in tech globally. Not just, this is not India figure. 29% is nothing. I have been myself in such boardrooms where it's full of men and I'm the only woman sitting there. Unfortunately or fortunately, what you say, that I have that voice that I can talk it out on, and I don't feel that, oh, what they will think or how they will judge me. And I also know where to keep my mouth shut and wait for the right moment to say. But 8 out of the 10 women usually don't have that voice. And they feel really like they are not at that stage where they want to say many things, but they feel they are being judged, or they get surrounded by that imposter syndrome that I'm not enough. Might be the men sitting in across the table are more technically sound than what I am. So there should be initiatives which should be taken by the organizations to make sure that women should be given voice at the table. Number one, there should be the foster of culture where there is a sense of belonging. You should encourage the women in your team to talk. And it's not just about allowing her to talk, but also include her ideas and suggestions in the improvements and initiatives what is running across the organization. And very important is that allow them to take the initiative. Don't let just absorb their ideas and let a man lead it. There's nothing, I have nothing against men. And first of all, I'm not a feminist because I feel a man is equally needed in the ecosystem as much as a woman. We are equal part of the ecosystem, but it's women also who has to take the initiative. It's very important for them also to come out. There should be programs associated in the organization which should be women oriented, because some women don't feel comfortable talking in front of the men. Some women don't feel, most of the women rather, don't feel comfortable talking all the topics in front of the men. So it will take ages to bridge this gap, but we have to start somewhere. And 29% of women in the tech industry, not only that, overall global leadership, if you go in my own organization in the leadership, there is 0.001 percentage of people in the leadership, women in the leadership, which is not a very encouraging figure. And women are better leaders. When a woman can channelize the energies at home and at work together, definitely they can channelize the business also. But it will take some time to get its growth.
Yeah, absolutely fair. And I think this was some candid conversation that has happened now. And for those of the senior leaders who have tuned into episode, request you to please consider encouraging women to take up bigger and senior leadership roles and pave that way so that more and
Absolutely.
more women uh, would like to take that plunge. And also, it's a humble request from the Guiding Voice platform as well. And now that Heena has brought forth the topic, and thank you so much for being so open about that. And in fact, I echo with you. A few organizations have that, but fortunately, I work for General Electric, and there we had a lot of open culture. And in fact, we had many senior leaders, many women in the senior leadership positions, and I can proudly tell you that so far in my career, I have reported to almost 9 women leaders out of 10.
Wow.
Only there was only one male boss whom I reported into. So maybe
Oh,
I'm.
that's like I have very rarely heard that, and I mean, kudos to you. Um,
And somehow I am comfortable working with female bosses. I don't know, like, but I'm
and
super
very few
comfortable.
men admit it so openly, Naveen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
please pat your back, because it comes with own prejudices and
Yeah,
it comes with its own pre-notion stereotypes.
yeah,
If a woman is a boss,
yeah.
so yes, I totally appreciate you for your comment.
Thank you, thank you. And in fact, the kind of work which I'm aligned to, it's also more related to this transformation, portfolio management, and all. Who
Hmm.
else can do better than women? That's what I feel, right?
True, true,
They
true.
have complete control of it, and I completely get aligned with their vision and all. In fact, I love working with women leaders.
Yeah.
So, on that note, let's switch to something serious. See, you said dealing with cancer has changed your mindset altogether. But I would like to understand from you during the diagnosis, right? What are certain things, right, that came to your mind, and how did you handle the situation so effectively? And today you are standing so tall in front of us, right, and inspiring people. Because if you observe certain folks from all walks of life, I'm not just referring to men, not I'm not just referring to women, but even men, right? Even for they worry about some trivial things, right? But if you consider such a huge thing like cancer, right, people almost give their hope, okay, because of that mental situation, right? The moment they come across this and all, it takes a lot of guts, right, in order to deal with that. And really, I'm super proud to having this conversation with a person like you who has battled that so effectively and all. And I would like to understand from you, how did you deal that situation? What kind of thoughts came in, and how did you overcome that?
Thanks, Naveen. Thanks for your kind words. So I got cancer in 2010. Those days when cancer was a dreaded word. Still it is, but at least now the awareness is more. Thanks to social media, people are more vocal about it. However, back those times, I'm talking about 12 years ago, it was taken in the light that, oh, if this person has got cancer, that's it, it's the end of the life. I have seen those kind of stares by people to me after I have gone through the journey and battled it out by God's grace. So that time it was a stigma. It is still stigma in tier 2 tier 3 cities of India. The culture we come from, the conditioning is like that people are scared to talk about it. People are scared to even mention about it to their own self. Forget about relatives and neighbors. They it takes time to absorb that news that you have cancer. I have walked through the same journey, and it took a lot of time initially, good number of re-opinions, etc., to understand that enough is enough. Your body is also going through that mental trauma when every doctor is trying to judge in terms of the inspection that, oh, we have to find out whether it's really a positive or negative. And I had to put my foot down that I have accepted I have cancer, let's go through the treatment. And in that course of reopinions, I was fortunate to have met one doctor who said that take one day at a time, don't really overplan that. What if this doesn't happen, so what will happen next to my life, and what if that will happen, so how my life will take course. And his advice has stick to me till date. anytime I feel down, I'm also a normal human being. I also go through the emotions, ups and downs, everything. So, this one advice always I keep it at the back of my mind, take one day at a time. This shall too pass. So, it's like I made sure that I broke down my cancer journey into three phases. One was the chemo, second was the surgery, which was the most dreaded part, and last was the radiation, which was the most easy part, or I would say that it was just at the end of the treatment. So I was more than happy to get back to things of my normal life rather than thinking of, oh, I have gone through what. So chemo was tough. Surgery was tougher than that because I went through 11 hours of surgery, wherein was on ventilator for one night and followed by in ICU for 3 days. So that was traumatic. And then post surgery healing was more traumatic than that. I still get goosebumps if I remember those nights. That was a difficult phase altogether. But I think what kept me going was, Naveen, one is the strength what my family gave, the evolution what my family went through. We all suddenly became a different individual because you're going through a complete change of life. You are seeing your own near and dear one going through the change of life in terms of hair loss and different other physical changes, etc. And second was my work. I am very proud to say, and I am thankful in gratitude to universe and my leaders that I was allowed to work all that 9 months of my treatment, after which a new Hina was born. And I took only 10 days of leave during my surgery because that phase I just couldn't lift my own limbs. So forget about working. Otherwise, even on the day of chemo, I used to stand tall, walk high with laptop on my shoulder to the reception and ask for the room for chemo. So it's like work was also a motivator for me that let me continue this journey. And last but not the least, I think that drive to live that I have mentioned in one of my blog also, that you die only one day, you live every day. So these were the things which just let me continue those 9 months. There were some difficult phases, especially after surgery, where I just want to just let down that no, I have lived enough. I had gone through that situation also where I was not able to even move an inch of myself without a support. Because then you start thinking, if I have to live this life as well, I just perish. But yes, God was kind. Things have been falling in place after that. And yeah, that was a phase, but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. I'm thankful to the fact that, yes, I was diagnosed with cancer. The pain was there, but I think it's a pain of the life which gives you multiple gains.
I have no words to say. I can imagine the kind of tough situation that you have gone through, but you have handled so efficiently and so bravely. So kudos to that. And now tying back to my previous question, like I asked, do we really have enough support, okay, for women in technology, right? So I would like to understand from you what can be done to engage more women in the technology industry.
Okay. So one is the first step, it's always you who have to take it. I would always say that it's the world is there to encourage you, but it has to come from you. I might give enough gyan, and there are enough motivators, influencers around the world. Thanks to social media, we have enough of it. It's there is no less population, but it's the step you have to take, for that matter, for anybody. So it's women who should get out of their comfort zone and start networking outside of their usual suspects. They have to fall into the patterns of creating their own allyship, having their own talent boards, etc., and then make sure that they are multiplying that networks. They are finding out that what is their strength and how they can leverage that network. It's not necessary. Like, for example, I am working right now as an IT professional in the organization, but on the hustle, I'm a career coach because I found that that's my inner potential and I can create an impact. So why not as well do it? At times I have to burn candles, but That's absolutely okay. It's if you are passionate about it, it will come out naturally. So come out of your comfort zone and start networking. That's very important. Number two, I would say it has to come mutually from the ecosystem. The company leaders who are the face and the voice of the company, they should also play a equal important role in the recruitment, because the work they do to elevate the company profile through different speaking engagements we have and different kind of forums we have within the organization, so that also help create that motivational ecosystem. So by supporting, following and joining those groups which are there within your organization, you should empower yourself, because leaders can also do to a limit. Again, a woman have to take the step. So while leaders should have that ecosystem of enabling them, empowering them, making sure that you are hiring a diverse women talent pool, but you should come forth and become a part of that pool. You should not just tell to your next level managers. So leaders should take that step first to become that encouragers and influencers to that diverse. I feel that is very important. And we should, number three is we should have more women centric mentoring and training program, as I told in one of the other answer also, wherein you feel comfortable, because all the women take some time to break the ice, to break that glass ceiling and become comfortable to talk about any topic. So a women centric forums and the mentoring programs wherein they can just say that what's stopping them. And so it will be always mix of people, right? I am part of such program. Corporate Diva is one such example which allowed me to do that. When I heard the women in that sector, I thought I have not faced that situation, but at least I can be an answer to their question. I can give them the example that, look, I was also in this situation. This is what I did. So sometimes while you don't learn, you don't have to really make the mistakes to learn from them. You can learn from others' example also. So that also makes a difference. Last but not the least, I think increase the communication training. As I said in before, give everyone that voice at the table. Women tend to speak less if they are in an environment which is more of when and less of. So that communication is the bridge to any situation in life, any relationship in life, or for that matter, anything in life.
Yeah.
Nobody can sit in your head or go in your head and get you like, aap ye soch rahe ho. Nobody will do that. You need to speak it out. It's like crying baby gets the milk, because they cannot speak. They cry. So they get the milk. Now you have that power to talk. Of course, you should know what to talk, where to stop, and how much to talk. That is important. But communicate, communicate, communicate. That will get you the visibility, and people will, like I always say this, and I think I follow it also. You need to establish your presence. Then only people will feel your absence.
Establish your presence so that people will feel your absence. And I love the metaphor of child crying for milk and all. Amazing. And after such an enriching conversation so far, let's add some spice to the episode. Okay, I'm going to kick off a quick rapid fire round with your consent, Heena.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so here comes the first bullet. Have you ever slept in a classroom or a critical meeting or a conference?
Classroom, not for sure. I was a little bit on the notorious side in my school days, like so much notorious that even if I'm not there, teacher used to think, okay, she is the one who is behind that brat. So it's like that. Meeting, not slept, but yes, if the camera is off, and it happened in COVID days only, so yes, I would be honest here, and I think all the professionals would have done it. So yes, I did.
Yeah, there are certain instances where I dozed off like for about a minute or 2 minutes, and suddenly somebody asked. I don't know. I'm clueless about the context.
No, so I have done in the meeting, Naveen, where I didn't have to speak.
Okay,
so it's like only my presence was needed, and as I said, camera was off. So I did. I will be honest here to the heart.
Fair enough. And here comes the next one. Just complete this sentence. On a typical vacation day, I would
Sleep it off. I
spot on.
just love sleeping. So I think I two things I'll do. Either I'll read or I'll sleep.
Mm.
With the music on. I mean, that is important. I'm not a TV person, so sleep it off is the first choice. And if, see, everybody gets tired of sleeping also, right? If you're like overdose you, then read. I'm very comfortable with myself. I enjoy my own company.
Mhm.
I absolutely don't need people around me.
Mhm.
So it's like in total bliss with my own self.
Wow, so profound. Moving ahead, can you describe yourself in just one word?
Phoenix.
Raised from the ashes. Okay. And
Absolutely. And I think I've always done that in life. It's
indeed.
like Phoenix comes with that example, right? That it basically Phoenix symbolizes that eternal flame,
Yeah.
which means that you have the faith, will, and passion for life. And no matter how many times I get that setback, I have just got that fire within me to heal and come back new again.
Superb. All right. Did you ever steal anything physical or materialistic from anyone?
I think on a lighter note, I would have stolen many hearts. So that I'm proud of. On a serious note, as I said, Naveen, I'm more of a natural nurturer. So I'm more of a giver. That is one quality which sometimes goes to that extent that I feel like it pains also, right?
Yeah.
Too much of anything gives the pain also. So I'm more of a giver. And I make sure that, yeah, I leave that mark with whom I am or wherever I go. And it's not easy to forget me. That I'm very proud of by God's grace.
Super. All right. So let's get into the last one. What is one electronic gadget or fantasy gadget that you would like to see or invent yourself,
Something if people wear or something which can be distributed to the entire world, which can lessen the hatred. There is so much hatred around. You go to social media, you go at times when I'm scrolling through the social media, I more than the post, I land upon the comments to see what kind of comments would have come. And people just don't think, you don't know the person or about which you're commenting. It can be a celebrity, it can be any common man also, like on LinkedIn. We don't know each other, but it's so much of hatred comes out.
Yeah.
You don't know the background of the person, you don't know the story behind that incident, you don't know why that person has written that. But it's so easy to judge, it's so easy to spell that beans of hatred. So I just want to eradicate hatred, because what love can do wonders in life, hatred just cannot do even a percentage of it.
Indeed. And
I
hatred is
strongly
all
believe
out
in
of
love.
all out of lack of patience, right? People fail to understand others' perspective, and at times they go by the herd mentality kind of thing. Okay, someone is doing it, to maybe I have to follow that, but they may not be the same person internally, right?
Or one thing, apart from patience, which is definitely, I agree, patience being a virtue. One more thing is like just a small control.
Yeah.
Not necessary, you have to really comment, right?
Yeah.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
Everybody gets thoughts. Even I also do get. But will commenting over there will help anybody? No. So if you ask that question, if the answer to yourself, if the answer comes no, stop yourself. So a gadget, if you wear, at least erase the hatred and makes you see a world in a more lovely way, with full of love for others. I think the world will become a better place.
Maybe I think this has to be sent to Elon Musk while he's developing this Neuralink.
I wish first he should take out the hatred what he has inside him. No offense to him, he has some of the very good leadership qualities.
Yeah.
But yes, it comes with his own pinch of salt, what he brings with his arrogance.
All right, so that was a great rapid fire, and I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it. With that, let's flip back to the mainstream. And before I let you go, one final question, Heena. What will be your single piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers or lives?
Okay, so One is, you might have seen, I think all of us must have seen that pencil in childhood, which had eraser at the back, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise also, so I think I have learned, I use pencil a lot apart from pen, and I have the habit of writing, which I got recently last 2 to 3 years. Pencil of no use unless you keep sharpening it, though the life of the pencil goes down. I think it's our analogy of life is same as that pencil. Unless you don't keep sharpening your skills, you will not evolve as a person. So please devote some time, invest some time in resharpening your skills every now and then. Otherwise, you will become just a dormant doormat, and eventually it's of no use to anybody. So if you have to keep yourself revived, alive, and energized, please reskill yourself every now and then. Reflect on your own progress, whether personal or professional. It can be personal. When I say personal, it can be as good as a weight loss journey. So keep resharpening yourself. Number two out of the pencil is it has an eraser at the back. Most of the time in life, we don't get an opportunity to erase the mistakes what we do, which is fine, I think, because I think God made us do some mistakes just to learn. So remember those learnings. And even if you do some mistakes and you can erase them by either seeking forgiveness or by letting go or not letting it impact your own psyche, please take these 3 steps. Heal out of it before you bounce back to life again. So use that eraser very, very judiciously, I would say. And last but not the least, out of that pencil only, when you sharpen the pencil, what comes inside it only comes out as sharp, right? So you know what's inside you. Remember that and keep making sure that you're outshining what's inside you. You are repairing what's inside you. So I do this very judicially. I do it. I am a very highly self-aware person. So don't let the shackles of people keep pulling you down. Just keep evolving. I mean, there are enough noises around, as I mentioned earlier. Shut them down. Focus on that one person, that one small ray of hope, or somebody who in your life who encourages you, which is very hard to do, because the voice is so much around that we hear that only. We just don't hear to that one person or that one ray of light which can encourage us and make us do better. So shut that, focus on that. You will become a better leader. Nobody can stop you. It always starts from you.
Wow. Such a powerful message. And I love the analogy of that pencil. And so with that a small item, right, you are able to correlate so many aspects of human life as well as evolution in terms of how we can sharpen ourselves and shine at work as well as
I used to have that pencil. I mean, as I said, I write with pencil a lot, but now I have a pencil which is without eraser, because if somebody has to ask me if you want to erase something what has happened in 40 years of your life, I would say no, nothing. Because had that not happened, I wouldn't have been the person what I am today.
Yeah.
So I am proud of each and every moment what I have lived, each and every human being I have met, because they have made a difference in my life in positive way.
Super. Salute to you. Amazing. I enjoyed every bit of this. Thank you so much, Heena. I really on cloud nine having met a person like you, and thanks to Deepika once again. So I'm sure this episode is going to stand out and it's going to inspire many individuals across the globe. Thanks for your time, insights, and thanks for everything.
More than happy for you to have me here, because of the simple fact that it was truly enriching conversation for me too. One simple fact is I have heard few of the episodes of the guided voice, and you just bring that lightning in your conversations. Like, you tend to not stop it. Okay, let me hear more. Let me hear more. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm sure you will go a long way, Naveen, in this effort.
Thank you. Thank you for the support, and a pleasure to host you, Heena. So, folks, that was our episode with Heena. And before we move into the trivia section, here's a request to you. In case if you haven't subscribed to us already, please subscribe from the app where you have tuned in from. Also, if you have loved this episode and found the conversation useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from the guiding voice. Because all we are trying to do is pay it forward. Somewhere someone will get benefited out of this conversation, and you never know, their life might impact positively or their career might turn around positively. Thank you so much in advance. Now let's hop into the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about the 9 Days Queen. Wondering who is 9 Days Queen? Lady Jane Grey was a 16th century English noblewoman and de facto monarch of England for 9 days in 1553. She was the great granddaughter of Henry VII of England and was proclaimed queen after the death of Edward VI. Her reign was short-lived, however, as the Catholic Mary I was able to reclaim the throne and Jane was eventually executed for treason. So that's why she is referred as the 9 Days Queen. I'm sure it must be interesting. And likewise, if you have come across any interesting trivia, please share them with me and I'm going to announce them in these future episodes. Not only that, in case if you find any interesting, inspiring speakers, just pass the details to me. You can reach out to me through social media or email me at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Friends, I'm your host Naveen Samala, just a fellow IT professional, but a passionate learner on a mission to make the world a better place to live through the conversations that matter, through the conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Until next time, bye-bye. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful